and it is so painful for me because having been part of Gorbachev's economic strategy group in 1990, having proposed uh, helping the economic transformation from the failed Soviet system to a functional system, and having that turned down by the West, I watched all of that. I sat across from Boris Yeltsin in December 1991 when he told our small group that the Soviet Union was over and that he wanted peace and cooperation with the West to be for Russia to be just a normal country alongside the rest of Europe. And with with Kaya Kallas, I advised her father, who was the governor of the Central Bank of Estonia. In 1992, I helped Estonia design its central bank and its currency. They gave me a high prize for that, actually, a national award for my contribution to that. And she won't even talk to me. They don't want to talk. They just want more. It's crazy, so self-defeating, but not for the first time in Europe, I'm sorry to say.
Well, that's just my last quick question. Do you see this as when the European leaders say that Russia's planning to attack, once they're done with Ukraine, they will come for us. This is why we have to fight them now. Do they actually believe this, or this posturing, or given that you have engaged with these people, well, most of the ones who are there in power now, what is your impression? Because on one hand, they do have to, if they want to keep the war going a bit longer, they have to kind of sell these narratives. But at times, one get the impression that they might actually believe the stuff they're spinning as well. So it's very hard, to tell, because at some points they have said the exact opposite. They recognize that creating a Europe without Russia would unavoidably become Europe against Russia. I think Angela Merkel once made this comment. So do they believe this,
Yes.
or is it just
And,
posturing?
and Angela Merkel said about the 2008 Bucharest NATO meeting that she knew that if they pushed this roadmap for Ukrainian membership in NATO, this was going to be war. She said that. So they knew that. So I think with the European leaders, it's complicated. First, many of them know, but maybe they have forgotten. Maybe they've talked themselves into a frenzy. Um, and let's remember, they're completely unpopular. So whatever they're saying, they're not carrying their publics with them at all. So I would say that the most important points are two. First, the publics don't believe it. And second, the Europeans, if they do believe it, the first thing that I would do if I actually believed that would be to sit down with the Russian counterparts and say, how do we make sure that doesn't happen? What can you tell us about guarantees for us? If we guarantee your security by stopping NATO enlargement, what about our security? That's a conversation to have. That's a good question to ask Foreign Minister Lavrov. Fair enough. But they don't even ask the question. They just claim to presume the answer. That is a self-fulfilling path to war. So the point is that if they really believe this, either they're suicidal or homicidal for their own populations, or they're so stupid that they don't understand that if you believe that, you better sit down with your counterparts and try to figure out a way that it doesn't come to pass, because there are things you can do in diplomacy, agreements you can reach, neutrality zones and buffer zones and monitoring and commitments that can matter. And they don't even try to explore those. So again, I've said to the European friends that I know, what are you doing? Go talk with your counterparts. Then you can make decisions not based on your prejudices or your claims or your phony domestic politics or your delusions, whatever it is, but at least on the basis of some facts that you can discern. But the truth is, European diplomacy is not so impressive in history. The tendency to war is extraordinary. The failure to talk is absolutely extraordinary. And even when there is a real risk, they don't even know how to get around to face the risk in a realistic way. So, yeah, if Kaja Kallas doesn't want to speak with the Russians, choose a different external affairs representative for Europe, but go talk and go someplace. Go to Abu Dhabi. Go to Istanbul. Invite a counterpart to Brussels. Go to Moscow. But come on, stop just saying that we're going to war.
Yeah. Now, as a European, I would like to see Europe represented more in international institutions, and but at the same time, I'm also recognizing that Kaja Kallas does not represent Europeans' interests. So